Hi guys, Phil here, corporatecareerblog.com. Today we're going to compare two of my favorite writers and mentors, Gary Vaynerchuk and Tim Ferriss. And if you know them both as well, you might have realized that they're sometimes having very different opinions about the same topics. Tim Ferriss being the one that is all about efficiency and reaching the maximum outcome with the minimum effective dose, and Gary Vaynerchuk, who basically tells you to hustle every minute or every second of your day in order to achieve your desired outcome. And well, first things first, I really love them both. I really admire them, and I would even go this far to say I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for them. I've been following them for the better part of the last 2 years, and I'm absolutely grateful for the advice that they're both sharing. So Tim, Gary, if you're listening, big thank you. And what I basically did over the last 2 years now is I realized that in certain situations the advice of Gary works better, and in certain situations the advice of Tim works better. And I've put together an entire guide that I'm also sharing with you on my blog post. You will find the link right down here. And I just want to, here in this video, I just want to pick out the most important points. And I want to start with Gary and tell you when the advice of Gary worked best for me. So Gary is really talented in firing you up. I mean, small little story, I once used to have Gary as my alarm clock, his voice set as my alarm clock. And oh boy, this really fired me up in the morning. And it can do the same for you. So if you are feeling down, if you're not feeling motivated, if you're feeling like you're wasting a lot of time, watch what Gary is putting out there, and it will motivate you. It absolutely does the trick, and it's one of, in my opinion, the biggest strengths that Gary has. Then the other thing is that he's an absolute social media genius. I mean, in my opinion, he's probably the best in the world currently out there in growing your followership on social media and attracting social media attention. He really knows how that works. And in general, he's really good at marketing, and he also teaches you how to do that in his latest book, which I also tell you a little bit about my blog if you want to click the link below. And then the third point that I want to pick out from Gary is the way he treats people. You know, I mean, my feed basically on LinkedIn, on Instagram is full with stuff from Gary, and he puts up a lot of videos where he lets you be part for almost the entire part of his day, basically. And he speaks to a lot of people, and it's really great how he treats people. This would be the third point that I would pick about Gary. Now about Tim, when to follow Tim. If you're working 15-16 hours a day, if you're afraid to travel because you feel like everything that you've built up will get lost, if you feel like you're not being effective or efficient, then Tim is your guy. Because that's what Tim is so great about, and that's what also his books are about, and that's what his own story is about. So with his own story, he basically really shows what is possible. Then the other thing that I would point out about Tim is, with him, it's not all about business, right? With him, I mean, he wrote a book about cooking, he keeps traveling the world, he did lots of other stuff. He's really experimenting with a lot of things. He used to run a sports nutrition supplement company, has incredible knowledge about it. And if you are generally interested in that stuff, I mean, he's great for business as well, but he has much more to offer than that. So that's definitely one point that I would raise about Tim. And the third point that I would raise about Tim is, for example, I'm reading his latest book, Tribe of Mentors, which I would absolutely recommend you to read as well. And Tim offers way more advice from other people, from the best in their field, than he offers advice from himself. So for example, here in this little book here, he interviews, I don't know, probably 100 of the world's best performers in their field, and it really lets you pick their brain and see how they got where they are today, which is absolutely fantastic. So where do they agree on? They have also fields where they agree on. One of the things I would say is that if you're in your teens or early mid-20s, they would both agree that hustling is what you gotta do, because Tim also only got where he is right now by really hustling in his early mid-20s, and he only started to slow down and start saying no to most of his opportunities once he realized what he really wants to do, because in his mid and early 20s he himself says that he basically was saying yes to every opportunity that came his way, and that just changed once he really figured out what he wants to do. Then another thing that they both agree on is that we're living in extraordinary times where everybody can actually realize their dream, start an own venture or business from scratch next to no costs. And also what they really have in common is right now everybody starts or talks about starting a tech startup, right? And while they both use the latest technology, they very much start a business that has absolutely nothing to do with a tech startup. And I mean, I have no particular know-how in technology. Neither probably do Tim and Gary, but they started a business using the latest technology, Instagram, other social media channels. What I'm doing right now here is shooting video, which costs me absolutely nothing, and they grew their business with these possibilities that we have in our hand. And this is what they and their story shows very impressively. So guys, for more information, make sure to check out my blog. Make sure, if you like it, to read their books. They're absolutely amazing, and I talk more about them on my blog as well. And I hope to see you on here soon again.